Magic does happen. Magic happens with hope, inspiration, and transformation. Of course it does. And when we talk about hope, inspiration, and transformation, as we have been for this last 7.5 hours, that's gonna lead me on to our next speaker. Again, another divine soul that's come into my life. And Ron, when we kind of chatted about his soul purpose and his mission in life, that again, he's really committed in helping others find their purpose. When you get the stream of the stories and the inspirational messages that Hit Talks are providing to you, everybody has their own message. Everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own fears. Everyone has their own challenges and obstacles that they've overcome. But the mission is the fulfillment of purpose, of happiness, of destiny, of inspiration, of transforming, of desire, all these amazing words. And so, Ron, I'm just so blessed that we've now connected, and I'd like to give you your 8 minutes for you to share your story on hope, inspiration, and transformation, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you, Vikki. As you said, my name is Ron Ario. I'm the Quantum Performance Coach. Quantum basically meaning your presence, your eternal energy, and performance meaning how you manage that internal energy so that we're not robbing ourselves of life's happiness and joys. So I'm going to share some practical tools today for personal transformation. And, so many people are out there struggling right now. It's it's one of the most intense times in humanity's history, let alone our own. So fear and forgiveness. So how do we transform, and why would somebody want to transform? Well, we talk about transformation. A lot of us that are transformational coaches will get in a flux about why do people not want to change? Why do they stay in predictable patterns of behavior that continue to cause them stress and unhappiness in life? And in order to transform, we got to create space. And this mind is full. And if it's full of predictable patterns of behavior, how do we create space? So fear and forgiveness are two catalysts that I have experienced in life that have created the necessary space so I can kind of slide into the peace that is necessary to make better decisions. So I'm going to share my story of forgiveness. But let me talk about some aspects of forgiveness first before I jump into my story. Okay. When we offer forgiveness, we're releasing the poison of anger and resentment that maybe we've held on for lifetimes. When we ask for forgiveness, we're releasing shame and guilt that maybe we've held on for lifetimes. And when we forgive ourselves, we offer ourselves a gift of self-love that maybe we've never even acknowledged. So let me go into my story. I was raped at 6. I spent the night at my friend's house. I had been playing inappropriately with the family's cat a few days before. And the father came in sometime in the night. My head was stuffed in a pillow and I was being raped. So you can imagine the pain, mental and emotional. My life was threatened to say anything. So come morning, I forgot everything. I didn't have a clue it existed. I'm going to share the story of forgiveness, because I want you to recognize that our greatest tragedies are our greatest gifts. They're absolutely our greatest gifts. And my story is no different than anybody else's story. We all have a story, and it's all relative. It's how we relate to the story and how our stories put us in our self-imposed prisons. So forgiveness is a tool out of the prison. So I went to an awakening in 2014, and in the midst of the awakening, I woke up one night at 3:30 in the morning, and I relived the event that happened to me. I felt the physical, emotional, and mental pain. I immediately went into forgiveness intellectually, because I knew as a person that was seeking transformation that I had to forgive. I had enough pain in life. So I immediately went into forgiveness. And every day in meditation, I would offer forgiveness. Now, that wasn't enough. So people can feel your emotions. So if you hang on to one end of a rope and I hang on to the other end of a rope and I shake it, you're going to feel it. So I sent a cord of energy from my heart to the person's heart. And I sincerely sent love to that person. And I just kept pouring love into that person. I wanted to be free. I wanted freedom. And in an instant, my heart started to open up and explode. And it felt like my heart kind of expanded into eternity, and tears were flowing down my face. And I felt the power of forgiveness. And in that moment, I never wanted to hold anything against anybody. So there's many gifts to this. And one of the greatest gifts is the present moment. When we can remove the mind chatter from the present moment, we can begin to experience the present moment in a more profound way. But the present moment is not determined in the mind. The present moment is in your presence, it's in your heart. And the present moment reveals itself in a frequency. And so when you start to get used to the frequency beyond the mind, you can start to tap in and make choices that empower you in life in a more beautiful way. So I liken the present moment to a string of pearls. If I can respond to life in a beautiful way in each present moment, then my experience in life is going to be beauty in that next present moment. Okay? And so when we start to become conscious of the present, we start to have the ability to make better choices and decisions. And we can't start to become conscious of the present until we remove the clutter that is taking the place, taking the space in our mind. So I want to encourage you to be introspective, to start to get into the silence and start to seek out the present moment and understand your tragedies are your greatest gifts. And you're empowered by your tragedies. So I hope that you found that empowering. I want to encourage you to dive deep, get into the silence. I'm the Quantum Performance Coach, and have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much, Ron. Powered by your tragedies. Powered by your tragedies. Thank you very much for sharing your story. As I said before, it's the stories of inspiration. It's the stories of transformation that actually will help others, that will help others transform, and the power of forgiveness. Forgiving in a concept like that, if you can do it, anybody can forgive for anything that's going on around them in the world, however little small. It's so easy for us to get triggered on little things, but the power of forgiveness and that cord of light, that cord of love. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ron. I'm sure many people will be able to be transformed with that, in those inspirational words.